Very good evening, and thank you very much for joining us.
Good evening, madam. Good evening to your viewers.
Right, just to get a sense of, your reaction to this. When you saw the letter, which is obviously contradictory to the directive that was given back in November, what were you thinking?
Good evening once again. I would say this incident is quite unfortunate. It is an expose of the structural deficiency of the scheme from day one.
Right.
It is how abysmal management and administration of the scheme has been. It is the result of how abysmal management has been since the inception of this scheme. Why do I say this? This is not new. Even the day that NABCO contract, the 3 years contract exhausted,
Right.
most of the agencies started issuing letters to trainees to vacate on leave, vacate their facilities. And why? The question that we should ask is, has there been an ardent communication, effective communication between NABCO as a secretariat, the initiators, and all these agencies?
So that was the question I wanted to pose, but you've gone into the communication. I wanted to know, the kind of communication that goes on. I mean, were you informed? What are your colleagues saying in respect of this? I mean, when the directive came out and now, what goes on? What kind of communication goes on?
It is really unfortunate. It raises question to the credibility of the NABCO as a scheme, the drivers of the scheme. But the fact is, we have outstanding arrangement before the election. Even we maximize the expectation of beneficiaries on the scheme. Even the least unfortunate trainee is expecting that at least either I get some capital to establish my own ventures, or I get some push-up to proceed on my destiny, to support my further studies. Because so far, we implemented an exit pathways, which option trainees to choose among 3 options. Either they maintain you as a permanent staff, you get capital to establish your ventures, or you get some money to proceed, or let me say, further your education. We haven't actualized all these modalities.
Okay, Barry, I want to find out, do you think that you were used as pawns in the pre-2020 elections?
Exactly. We have been used as power horses and donkeys for NPP to renew its mandate. As simple as that, because the promise came before the election. And before the election, the contract wasn't expired. We came out with modalities to exit NABCO trainees onto a better opportunities. But at the end of the day, NABCO as secretary issued notices to trainees to vacate the scheme. It took some of us to contest painfully for them to release a hasty notice that trainees should remain at post. And even the question that we raised is as to what specific timeline, because as any agency, sometimes when they give contract, 3 years contract, when the contract is exhausted, they issue notice as to the specific duration for renewal. There wasn't nothing like that under NABCO. We were just told to remain at post until when, and even after that we remain at post. Up till now, 5 solid months we haven't been paid. Coordinators are issuing notices to trainees to go to school to teach. What would they use to transport themselves to the various facilities to work?
Berima, do you think do you think the reality is why they are letting you go? That if 5 months government has not been able to pay, if we're going by the number they put out, that 100,000 people, perhaps they are unable to pay, and that's why they're letting you go?
I will further, based on this question, to punch the credibility of NABCO as a secretariat. Honestly, I would say they are not even privy to this directives. They are not aware of these directives.
Okay.
These directives have been issued solely by the heads of all these agencies. Because sometimes if I'm a head of a corporate agency, you have brought a trainee for three solid years. He or she has garnered the experience, all the pragmatic experience that he or she will be employed.
Okay.
Now the contracts are exhausted. You haven't engaged me as to the further particulars of the extension.
Right.
He is just at my edifice, always reporting, and he will come complaining bitterly that I haven't been. I'm human. The fact is, it is better to vacate all those trainees so that they can go out there to explore. It is better than always they are reporting at the facilities. We don't know any specific timelines that they have been re-engaged. Again, they are facing a whole lot of challenges. There are a whole lot of quagmires with regard to their stake as trainees within my edifice.
Okay, all right.
Why
Thank you,
I
Nana Berima.
notice for them to vacate their post?
All right, Nana Berima, thank you very much. He's a patron of the coalition of NABCO trainees. He's saying that they haven't been paid for over 5 months. He believes they were used as pawn in the 2020 election because government promised to give them jobs, but this year they were going to absorb even more people.